words is just cocaine. Underlined.
Right. Cocaine's like on like note 20 for me. Just whatever. Yesterday you tweeted. That was my newscaster voice. David Bowie's mutating aesthetic and persona are as much an instrument as his voice or guitar, sound and vision, hero, icon, alien. Let's start with this. What is your favorite incantation or incarnation of Bowie or Bowie character?
I might say Ziggy Stardust. Not actually for the aesthetic, because I feel like it's a difficult one to pull off. I mean, it only ages well on Bowie. You know what I mean? Because I feel like that was his original, his original big idea. And also it was so kind of locked into, like, you could see his Lou Reed and Iggy Pop influence. And it was the first time he really went really out there with the persona.
Could you ever see yourself doing a big persona like that?
I think that I dipped my toe into it this last go round. Yeah, a little bit.
It worked. You yourself have described yourself as, at times, as in the context of being a young Texan, as being an alien and a freak yourself. Do you think that your adult freakiness, your present day artistic freakiness, is that a distillation of who you were as a teenager? Do you feel like emboldened as a grown-up musical artist to be who you are now? Does that make sense?
It does make sense. I would say that if we're lucky, it's always a process of like growing into oneself and being more comfortable in one's skin. And I guess all of the elements, the embryonic freak was there as a teenager. I mean, I spent a lot of time in my room reading and writing and being sort of antisocial and dreaming about what life would be like outside of the suburbs of Dallas, Texas. And so I feel at this point like I've been very lucky to get to realize a portion or of those dreams that were inchoate as a kid.
What is your favorite Bowie song?
It's No Game Part 1, off of Scary Monsters and Super Creeps. Why? Because Robert Fripp's guitar playing is so sharp and insane, and it creates this menace and anxiety over the entire track that makes me feel alive and feel emboldened and feel as insane as I feel on a daily basis. Like, I can always go back to that track and just be like, it's so full of like rage and pathos and everything. It's perfect. It's a perfect song.
What's your favorite Bowie song to dance to?
Let's dance.
Their own choice, but I respect it. Has there been an evolution in your understanding or appreciation of Bowie? Like, did you immediately get the depth of Bowie when you were introduced to his work? And how were you introduced to his work? Do you remember?
When I was was a kid, I knew the hits, you know, because I was a kid in the early 80s, and so there are certain songs that just everybody knows, sort of inherits when they're in the womb, but it wasn't until I was probably late teens, early 20s that I really dug into Bowie. And it's one of those things, it's one of the best kinds of music, as I'm sure you all know, where the more you listen to it, the more you get out of it, and it becomes this never-ending source of exhilaration or joy or all those things that reaffirm your humanity. So I go back to it. I mean, I probably listen to David Bowie every day, easily.
Someone thinks that's funny. Just what I was going to ask you. Where does, I mean, maybe this is a really painfully obvious question. Where does Bowie's influence show up most, do you think? I mean, you always seem super self-contained to me in a lot of, like, not impervious to influence, but like.
In my own work? Yeah. I think the big banner, bold headline, and everything that I have learned from Bowie is just that it has to be rooted in the song. He always manages to add some element that makes things a little bit uneasy or a little bit alien or whatever, but the fact is that they are great songs, and you could strip them of all their accoutrement and still have an excellent song. And that I think is the lesson. I mean, again, I said it earlier in the talk, but if he didn't write incredible songs that touched people's hearts and were visceral and were rock and roll with lipstick on, as John Lennon famously said about Bowie, like, we wouldn't be here talking about it. It wouldn't matter. You know, all the aesthetic in the world won't make a mediocre song a great song.
If there was going to be, sometime in the future, an Annie Clark retrospective here, what artifacts of your career do you think we would see here? Are you sentimental? What do you say? Do you save anything?
What would you have here? You might have. I don't know. I feel like my mom should maybe curate that.
She's got some boxes in her garage.
Some boxes. She has every
Future retrospective.
Yeah, I mean, I think I did an
Michael?
interview with the AARP, and she's got that. Every interview you could imagine. She has them all.
Do you have much, I don't want to say like, have you accumulated like ephemera of your success? Like, is there, you know, like are you keeping like, this is my special outfit that I wore this one time for this one thing?
First of all, I'm not rich enough to have like a special outfit that I only wear for one thing. But if I did, I would. Yes, I do keep costume. I do keep things that I've worn on stage for sentimental value, not with the idea, although we should talk, Michael, about having a retrospective.
You don't have an archive yet?
I mean, unless I die tomorrow, which, who knows? I don't think there will be a retrospective for a very long time, if ever. So, but I do keep stage clothes, and I do keep fan gifts, and I usually give fan portraits to friends and family, because I feel like.
Are you weird if you have them?
Well, I just don't ever want to be one of those people to where you walk into their house and they have pictures, like just lots of pictures of themselves. It's like a very Paris Hilton thing to do.